Imirowicz, case number 22-281-519-FC.
Jason DeSantis, the people, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Frederick Bell on behalf of Ms. Imirowicz, who stands to my left.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Hunter Smith.
Megan Imirowicz. Thank you. Everyone can be seated. Go ahead, Ms. Miller.
Your Honor, I had brought to Mr. DeSantis' attention that I became aware that Julie Conrad, who's a witness on my case, had been watching court TV. Technically, there is a sequestration order, although she wouldn't have been here to see it. She didn't enter the courtroom, but these proceedings are made public, and I at least wanted to address it to the court, because frankly, it's never occurred. I've never had this situation, and I'm just bringing it out to the court's attention.
And Judge, I've never had this situation either. I do appreciate counsel for letting me know. At this point, I do have to move to exclude Ms. Conrad from testifying, as it is a violation of the sequestration order.
Okay. Anything further?
Your Honor, I would just indicate that she's not going to testify as to what anybody else said. She's just going to give her observations of what occurred at that time, give her knowledge of Konrad Imirowicz, and she will not be commenting on anybody else's testimony.
With regard to People v. Marconi, 277, Mish App 651, at 654, the court is satisfied that there are 3 sanctions available for the trial court to remedy a violation of a sequestration order. Number 1, holding the offending witness in contempt. Number 2, permitting cross-examination concerning the violation. Or number 3, precluding the witness from testifying. Although usually stated in the context of a defense witness's exclusion in a criminal case, courts have routinely held that the exclusion of a witness's testimony is an extreme remedy. The court will not grant the request to exclude the witness. The court will, however, permit cross-examination concerning the violation.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
So did you want me to call Miss Julie Conrad?
Yes, you may.
Julie, this is without, you can stay there. This is without the jury, so come on up.
Oh, okay, her mom. Her mom is gonna come up. Okay. But without the jury in the room. Interesting.
So come on over here. We're going to walk you right up here. Okay? And remain standing, and they're going to swear you in.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand and be sworn, please?
Under penalty of perjury, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Okay, ma'am, you can be seated. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Deputy, can you just allow them to enter the courtroom, please?
Do you want the jurors in here?
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to do this before the jurors come in?
Well, this would be, that's a good question.
No, I would think the cross would be in front of the jury.
Go ahead.
All right.
With regard to sequestration, go ahead.
I just go to credibility, Judge, so that would be in front of the jury.
Okay.
So he wants the jury in here then?
So I think we would just proceed as normal.
Correct.
All right.
You okay?
I was going to call Morgan first, but
Okay, so do you want her to step down?
yes, I do.
That's fine.
Sorry, ma'am.
My confusion, I apologize.
Okay, so they're gonna call Morgan now, which is her sister, but Morgan is the biological
Okay, ma'am, and I'll
daughter
have you wait in the hallway.
of Julie and
Thank you.
Konrad. Very interesting. Interesting start to the afternoon session. Oh my goodness, okay.
Ms. Miller, who are you calling?
I would be calling Morgan Imirowicz first,
Okay.
and she's seated
Right. So, ma'am, you want to come on up?
Do we want to bring in the jury first, Judge?
Yep, you can be ready right here, please. Let the jury know to enter, please. Good afternoon, everyone.
The plot
You
thickens.
can be seated, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the record. We have already called the case. The lawyers have put their appearance on. It is now Mr. Miller's case. He is calling his first witness. Mr. Miller, please go ahead.
Your Honor, I call Morgan Imirowicz.
Mr. Imirowicz, ma'am, can you please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. You may be seated.
Morgan, would you state your name and spell your last name for the court, please?
Morgan Imirowicz. IMIROWICZ.
Okay, very
I
good.
ask you to keep your voice up a little bit. I know this is hard, but if you can please make sure that you are speaking loud enough for everyone to hear in the courtroom, okay? Thank you.
And your relation to Megan Imirowicz?
She's my older sister.
Okay. Still got to keep it up. I'm going to come over here so you can speak loudly, all right?
Okay, I'm sorry.
And your relation to Konrad Imirowicz?
He's my dad.
And he passed away in this matter, correct?
Yes.
And your relation to Austin Imirowicz?
He's my older brother.
And your relation to Julie Konrad?
She's my mom.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to the Austin's graduation ceremony. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when it was?
It was sometime late May, early June of 2021.
All right. That was before this incident which we're here for occurred, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. On that date and time, did you see your father?
Yes, sir.
What did he look like?
Judge, at this point, I'm going to object as to relevance.
Response.
Your Honor, it goes to establish that he had a drinking problem and clearly had some issues.
Judge, I think the fact that he was drunk the night of is not really in dispute. I've certainly never disputed that. Anything beyond that simple character evidence from another date and time, which is only admissible in cases of self-defense.
Under 701 would be a lay witnesses. Go ahead, response, please.
Your Honor, I believe I'm going to establish his health, how he was throughout the last couple months of his life, and indicate that he had a serious problem.
The court audio is very interesting this afternoon.
Mr. DeSantis, sir, why wouldn't it come in under 701, please?
Judge, it's character evidence of a witness that isn't material to credibility, so it doesn't come in. And it's also specific instances of conduct. So if you want to attack credibility with extrinsic evidence, it has to be done when it's concerning a witness's character for truthfulness or untruthfulness, or concerning the character for truthfulness or untruthfulness of another witness to which the character witness has been cross-examined as testified. That's not the case here.
Technically, Mr. Imirowicz isn't a witness, although he did get statements in.
With regard to the issue of being an alcoholic and the specific facts of this case, tell me why it would be relevant in this case in order for me to establish whether or not it's appropriate under the lay witness opinion testimony of 701.
Your Honor, Austin Imirowicz testified that there was nothing wrong. His father was fine. There was no problems at all.
What was the date of the party or the ceremony that you
The
reached?
ceremony was the spring of 2020, which was
2021, sorry.
2021,
2021.
which was a few months prior to.
Court's going to allow it.
Thank you.
What, if anything, was the condition of your father on that date and time?
He showed up late. He had half his head shaved, buzzed on one side, so like almost skin, and it was longer on the other side. And then he had a white shirt on and it had stains on it.
Stains on it. Did you get close enough? Did you talk to him that day?
No, sir.
Keep your voice up, okay? All right. Had you ever been in the house?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you were in the house?
The summer of 2021.
What was the condition of the house?
Very poor. It was very messy. Smelled very bad. I walked in. When you walk in, there's a stairwell, and I was just on the hallway, and you could see that there was trash everywhere.
And you had actually spent the night there, correct?
Not during that time. The last time I spent the night was my freshman year of high school, so 2018 through 2019.
And at that point in time, you indicated that the downstairs bathroom was pretty bad.
Yes, I showered in it, and there was vomit in the shower and in the sink, and there was toilet paper everywhere.
And that was your father's bathroom?
Yeah, I shared it with my father because my room was on that floor as well.
Did you ever try to visit your father in the hospital?
I tried one Saturday with my boyfriend, and I was told I wasn't allowed to
That was by the hospital staff.
by my brother.
Thank you. Confirmed.
Morgan, my name is Jason. I'm the prosecutor in this case. If you can't hear me, you need me to repeat a question, just say so, okay? You weren't there on the night of October 1st, 2021 at your father's house, correct?
No, sir, I was at a football game for my school.
Okay. Were you living at home with your mother?
Yes.
And that's Julie Conrad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After Megan was arrested in this case, she came home, right?
Not that night, but a few days following, she came over to our house, yes.
Okay, and so then she was staying with you for a while?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How was your relationship with Megan before this?
Before the incident,
Yes, ma'am.
we were very close throughout childhood. We always shared a room. The only time we didn't was when my dad let me have my own room at his house and when my mom let me have my own room at her house. So I was around 10, and then we always stayed in contact even though we weren't living at the same house anymore, and that started when I was 13, almost 14. It was during the summer. My birthday's late summer, but we always talked. We always called. We had classes together our freshman year of high school, so we were always together in those classes, sat by each other.
Okay, that sounds like a very close relationship.
Yes, sir.
It seems you did not have that relationship with your older brother, Austin.
I did for many years, but it faded out in and out. We just didn't have that bond that my sister and I had.
Okay. When you were trying to get to the hospital to see your father, you said Austin was the person who told you no.
Yes.
Okay. At that point, had Megan already been staying at your home?
I do not believe so. I think because she came home on a weekday and that was the weekend.
Okay. Had you talked to Megan already?
No.
Okay. I don't have anything else, Judge.
Just briefly, you'd indicated you guys lived together for a while, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was there a point in time when there was a divorce in this matter?
My parents were divorced when I was in kindergarten, and they started living separately when I was in first grade. So,
And Megan,
2011.
okay, now, Megan and your brother lived with you for a while, correct?
Yes. My mom had primary custody, I think it's called, because they had joint custody of us. And we would go back and forth between the houses on Wednesdays, and every other weekend we were with my dad. And then every other day and weekend we were with my mom. And that stopped occurring the summer before my freshman year of high school, so when I was 13.
And at that point in time, Megan and your brother moved out?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
Briefly, Judge. Did Megan choose to go live with her father?
Yes, we were all given a choice of what parent we wanted to live with.
Okay. And you chose to stay with your mom,
Yes, sir.
and Megan and Austin went to live with their dad by choice?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have any questions? Okay, you're excused as a witness. You may step down.
Your Honor, may she stay in the courtroom? I'm not going to recall it.
Any objection?
I won't be recalling her. I have no objection.
She may stay in the courtroom.
Wow. Okay. So now it's going to be her mom. Her mom.
All right, call Julie Conrad.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
See, we're learning so many more facts. Wow, okay, so now it's going to be Julie Konrad. It's interesting how her surname now is Julie Konrad. It was Julie Imirowicz, and I'm saying because the dad's name was Konrad Imirowicz. So when I first heard Julie Konrad, I'm like, what? Julie Konrad, her mom, coming up to testify. And we could see the defendant crying in
Good
court.
afternoon, ma'am. Please state your name again for the record, please.
Julie Konrad.
And raise your right hand to be sworn.
You solemnly swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give forth this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
You may be seated, please.
Thank you.
Ma'am, would you state your name and spell your last name to the court, please?
Julie Konrad. Julieconrad.
And your relationship to Megan Conrad? Or Megan Imirowicz, excuse me.
She is my daughter.
And your relationship to Morgan Imirowicz?
My daughter.
Your relationship to Austin Imirowicz?
My son.
And your relationship to Konrad Imirowicz?
My ex-husband.
And you would talk to Konrad occasionally, would you?
Yes.
I draw your attention to that night, October 1st, 2021. Do you remember what occurred?
Yes.
Did you receive a call?
Yes.
And what did you do?
The phone call was from Austin for asking me to go to his father's house and to pick up Konrad's cell phone and to bring it up to the hospital.
All right. What did you do first? Did you go to the house or did you go to the hospital?
First, I called another adult to follow me over to Konrad's house, and we went into the house with the other adult, always within a few feet of me. In fact, one time even so close that ran right into him when I turned around real quick. And then he followed me back out to Grange Hall Road, and I headed up to Genesis, and he headed home.
All right. So you were in the house with another individual, correct?
Yes.
What was the condition of the house?
Have you seen the show Hoarding?
Well, I don't know.
A lot of trash. You could not walk into the kitchen. There was trash bags and various trash all over. To the couch, there's just a little, like 1 foot wide trail to the couch, to where Konrad was sitting that day, on the left side of the couch. Austin's bedroom, I believe, was pretty much empty. Megan's bedroom was a mess, but just clothing. The bathroom, it needed a good cleaning. And the downstairs, the lower level, the bi-level, the basement, it smelled a lot like cat urine, cat feces. The lower level bathroom, I gagged, and that's when I turned around and ran into the other adult, as the toilet was full of feces, and it really smelled bad. With Konrad's bedroom, there was not a bed, and the freezer was open a little bit, and that's the only thing that we touched other than the front doorknob. We closed the freezer to preserve the food.
And you indicated there was an odor in the house?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's a combination of cat smell. I know there was mold because my eyes started itching and the roof of my mouth started itching. And that only happens when I'm around mold.
What did you search for when you were at the house?
Well, first we were looking for a cell phone. and that was pretty easy to find as we stood at the top of the stairs, and I called Konrad's cell phone number, and a piece of paper started moving around on a table, and so we went over and looked underneath the piece of paper, and I was able to grab the cell phone. And we were also looking for what kind of chemicals, because if he had chemical burns, as a ski patroller for 23 years, it's important to know what he's burned by so he can be treated properly for those burns. And so we were looking for what type of chemicals and taking pictures. And all the pictures I shared with Trooper Smith when they arrived up at Genesis.
Did you observe the white bottle?
I never saw a white bottle.
Did you look at the couch?
Yes.
Was the couch damp in any way?
It looked like it was well sat in certain areas. It was an older couch, and it looks like the areas where people would sit for, days, years, were kind of like, it was a different type of, the fuzzy part of the material wore off.
Now, did you observe any liquid on the floor?
The carpet was definitely wet. There was plastic bags all around right in front of the couch, and I stepped on one. I thought it was cat feces. There were not any tigers there, so I don't think it was cat feces.
It was feces of some kind?
I think it was human feces.
After you looked for the chemicals and you found the phone, what, if anything, did you do?
Well, we took the pictures. We did see a powder, like on the back of the couch, like where your head would rest. We did see powder there. So I took a picture of that. And again, that was one that I had texted to Trooper Smith. And we just, any type of chemical product we took a picture of. And then after that, we went ahead and left.
Where'd you go next?
Back out to Grange Hall and up to the emergency room at Genesis.
What happened when you got to Genesis?
I saw Kayla, who I recognized, and so I walked right up to her, and she goes, "Okay, well, let us call Lucas out so you can go in." And so we kind of did a switch there, and I went in and was in the room with Konrad and Austin, and medical people were coming in and out.
Did you have a chance to talk to Konrad?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he tell you?
He's like, "Hi," and he was very animated, and knowing Konrad, so I knew what condition he was in. But he's like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And I was like, "Does anything hurt?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, what happened?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm just here. They're giving me meds and stuff, and everyone's coming to see me." And he was like having a jolly old time.
Okay. Did he ever at any point in that day tell you anybody did anything?
No. He just kept repeating, "I don't know. I don't know." And he actually showed me many of his burns. And I was feeding him ice chips.
It came at one time when you left, correct?
Yes. The hospital staff was rounding everything up and getting everything ready, so he could be put onto the ambulance for transport to Hurley.
Did you ever talk to him after he left the hospital?
No.
Did you ever try and visit him?
No. On the next day, I had set up a text chat, real text, not Snapchat, a text group with Austin, Morgan, myself, and my youngest son, Ian, so we could get updates on their dad. And I ended up calling Austin, and he told me that a plan was put in place where no one could come up there except for himself and one other, and you had to have the passcode or the password in order to get any information or to visit. And he told me I better not ever try to go around that. He goes, I know you're good at talking your way into things, and not to ever come up there or do anything, or you're done for.
So did you ever talk to Konrad after that date and time?
No. I never talked with Konrad after he left Genesis.
All right. Now, Konrad had some health issues.
He'd had issues for many, many years.
All right. You were married to him until when?
The divorce was final May 2011. I'd moved out of the house into my own house in December 2010, and that was after custody was established.
When you were divorced, what, if any, medications was he on?
He was taking a blood pressure medication and a water pill.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that last one.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear the last answer.
Oh, he was taking a blood pressure medication and a water pill. He also took an over-the-counter allergy medication and an allergy medication that is a nasal spray.
Do you know if he continued those after the divorce?
I would have no way to know.
All right. And you would talk to him occasionally, correct?
Yes.
You had children together with him.
Yes.
Did he ever discuss his health with you?
Yes, he did. Actually, that summer he had discussed his health with me. He called up and asked me, I could tell he was sort of embarrassed, and he asked me why his urine would be dark brown, almost black, and very difficult to, I'll use the word, urinate. And I told him right away that he needed to go get some, emergency help. He needed to go to the hospital right then.
To your knowledge, did he ever go?
I have no idea. I had kids to take care of.
Sure. And there came a point in time when, originally with the custody, you were granted custody of the kids, correct?
Yes. I had primary custody. The kids were with me every Wednesday evening. Konrad was supposed to pick up the children from school and drop them off. It began at 7 p.m., but as the kids got a little bit older, it changed to 8 p.m. And then he had them every other weekend from right after school through the Monday morning when he dropped them off at school.
There came a point in time when that changed, correct?
Correct.
And what? Do you remember when that was?
Yes, it was right when my mother was in the hospital for cancer. It was February 2019, and the kids were talking about living with Konrad. Well, the motion that he filed was for him to have full custody of all 4 children.
And what was the result of, what was the end product of all the court process?
Okay. The end product was that he had custody of the older 2, Megan and Austin, 100% of the time, physical custody. I had physical custody of the younger two, Morgan and Ian, 100% of the time. Now the children could decide when or even if they wanted to see the other parent. It was up to them, with the one exception being Christmas Eve, they had to be with their dad, and Christmas Day, they had to be with me.
And Mr. Nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Konrad.
Good afternoon, Mr. DeSantis.
If I've been told I talk a little fast sometimes, so if you need me to repeat anything, just let me know.
Oh, I'm used to my chipmunk molding.
Sure. So your children in order of age would be Austin, Megan, Morgan, and Ian.
Yes.
Right. How old would they have been on October 1st, 2021 each?
Okay, this is a quiz, isn't it?
No, it's not. I promise. Just to
Okay.
establish the relationships.
That would have been 2 years ago. Actually, 1 year ago. So Austin would have been 19. Megan would have just turned 18. Morgan was 17. And Ian was 13.
Okay. Now, the day of the incident, October 1st,
Yes.
you went over to the house with another person. Who was that?
Evan Sweeter.
Okay, Evan Sweeter.
Yes.
And what was his relationship to you?
Actually, someone who helped me out a lot, but Morgan's boyfriend. But he was 18
Okay.
and therefore an adult.
Okay, so you had Morgan's boyfriend come with you to this house.
Yes.
Okay. Was he at the home when you had been called?
No.
Okay.
But as soon as I hung up from Austin, I immediately called Evan, and Evan's house was actually on my way to Conrad's.
Okay. When Austin called you and told you what had happened, and you went over to the house, what information did you have going into the home?
I knew that Conrad had been burned by some type of chemical. I knew that they were at Genesis. I knew that Megan was having problems with the PIN number on her dad's credit card, and that my dad was also involved, and he ended up actually paying for the hotel room on his credit card. I think that's all I knew.
Okay. And what Austin had asked you to do was go and get the phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ask you to do anything else?
Yes, he asked me to see what chemicals were around,
Okay.
so we could figure out what was put on them.
Okay. So you went in there, and you started searching through.
I mean, walking through, yes.
Okay. Did you move anything aside to try and find any chemicals or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Did you see the blanket on the couch?
There was a lot of stuff wadded up at the right end of the couch.
Okay. A lot of stuff wadded up the right end of the couch. You didn't search through that pile, though?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't want to touch anything.
Okay. So you didn't know if there could be a chemical bottle in the couch?
No idea.
Okay. You said the floor was wet?
Yes.
Okay. And that the couch was certainly discolored?
Well, it's worn.
Sure. Okay. But you used the word well sat in, I think, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And you saw white powder on the back of the couch?
on the, yes, on the area behind the couch.
Okay. Then you said you also went and saw, and then you left after that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes? Just for
Yes.
That's okay. 20-year officers do that as well. Don't worry about it. And then you went to the hospital.
Yes.
Okay. And the person who was with you left, didn't come with.
Correct. He went back to his house.
Okay. Why didn't you have him come with you to the hospital?
He had to actually wait and pick up Morgan from, I believe Morgan was at a football game at the high school.
Okay.
and so he had to wait and pick up her.
All right. And so you went to the hospital,
Yes,
and you went in and saw Konrad,
yes.
and you said he was having, I think it was a jolly old time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He was medicated then, wasn't he?
I did not see for sure that he was medicated, but I'm sure he was.
Right. You weren't there when he was first picked up, of course.
No.
All right.
No.
When did you get to the house?
I got to the house at around 5:30, 5:20. I think it was 5:20.
Okay. Was it already dark out?
No.
It was October 1st, so it's
Yeah,
in between, right?
You're right. It wasn't dark yet.
Okay. Now, after the case was over, well, let me ask you this. First off, you talked about the custody split at the end that changed in February, correct?
Yes.
So that the physical custody changed.
Yes.
So did Megan and Austin choose to go and live with Konrad?
I asked each child what they wished and what did they want, because they were all, old enough to make the decisions. And so I did what they all wanted.
So about that time, Megan would have been, what, 17?
No, in 2019, she was 15.
Okay, she was 15. And so you thought she was old enough to choose which parent she lived with?
Well, I understood that around age 12, and depending upon maturity level, that they can start having a voice in where they want to live.
Okay. And so she chose to go with Konrad?
Yes.
And that was the agreement that was set then?
Yes.
All right. After the case began, after this incident happened, Megan came home for a while, right?
Megan came to my house. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She came to live with you?
I picked her up from the jail.
Okay. Did she tell you what had happened?
First we hugged and cried.
Sure.
And then she asked, is her dad okay? And I showed her 2 pictures that I had taken of her dad.
What were the pictures of?
One was of his head and the burn on his head. The other one was of, I don't remember if it's left or right, but of one of his hands where the cuticles were all pulled back and the burns went up about to the middle of his fingernail.
Why did you show her those?
So she could know what condition her father was in.
Okay. And then you brought her home?
Well, we talked a little bit more first.
Sure. Overall, you brought her home?
Yes.
Okay. And so she was staying with you for a while?
Yes, she stayed with me until March, I believe it was March 16th.
Okay. Now, I assume, when you first took the stand, counsel was asking you about your kids and naming them off, and you had an evident smile on your face. I assume, you love your kids. I assume
Yes.
Megan was always welcome at home, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been talking about, and we've heard in this trial, in fact, you heard in this trial because you were watching on the stream, right?
I watched the first day I did not really watch too much of it, and then some of it I was not able to watch at all. There's a few testimonies I saw all of them.
Okay. So you were talking today about the mess of the house.
Yeah.
Okay. And it had been in that condition for some time.
Well, there was one point in time many, many years ago that I actually went over and said, I'll help clean, and after about 10 hours of working, I had only cleaned the boys' bedroom.
Sure. That was years ago.
That was years ago.
Years prior to this incident, prior
Yes.
to 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so despite this, Megan chose to live with her father.
Yes.
Okay. And while this was all going on, she never came home until this happened. She never came to your place, right? She never moved back in?
Once in a while she would come over.
Sure, but she didn't move back in, right?
Correct.
Okay. She chose to stay there.
Yeah.
Okay. Megan is, of course, your daughter. You love her very much. You don't want anything bad to happen to her, right?
Correct.
Nothing else, Judge.
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have questions?
can step down. You're excused as a witness.
Thank you.
That was a lot, you guys. Oh my word. I think that if I speculate, why would Megan rather live with Konrad than at her mom's house? Maybe she felt really sorry for Konrad. Maybe someone, because it was the two adopted kids were like, we'll go live there. Maybe they felt really sorry for him and responsible, like, okay, we'll take care of him. But it sounds hectic to live there. Shame. Oh my word. Okay. Okay, she's in a state here, you guys. So let's see. Let's see what else happens. Paul Senior says, it's pot like if my messages appear. It's been like it for days. Yeah, YouTube's upgrading a lot of stuff, updating things, doing, all kinds of changes. So there are a couple of glitches all over the world on YouTube. But in no time, I'm sure things will be fixed and better. I hope better. My word. Okay, so that was Megan's sister and Megan's mother that just testified.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are concluded for today. I will have you come back tomorrow.
That's fine.
9 a.m.? Okay. We will start tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, do not discuss the case with anyone. Do not research anything. Don't have any discussions with regard to this matter until I instruct you and you are free. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Eyes for the jury.
Damn, everyone, that did not expect all of that this afternoon. That was quite something. Just to learn the state of the house and it was interesting though to learn about the dynamics of the family and who's who, and we learned the other brother's name, Austin. So there was Austin, Morgan, Ian, and Megan. And Austin and Megan were adopted. Morgan and Ian, I believe, were biological children. Sure, yeah. Gemini says, wow, really short days.
Anything for the record?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll see everyone tomorrow at 9:30.
Thank you. 9 o'clock, I assume you meant.
I'm sorry, 9 o'clock.
Please rise.
PT said, third girl. Okay, well, that's what we have there. So let's take the border off now. Sure, you guys. I wonder now, tomorrow, who will the defense call up next? Because I'm pretty sure that with the rate of this trial, that this will be all wrapped up by Friday. What do you think? Then, I wonder if we'll have a verdict by Friday. I feel like the jury might be like, whoa, we need the weekend. We need to sleep on it. Right? Sure, okay, so, yeah, this was not a very long afternoon. Less than an hour. A. Heinemann says, I chose to live with my dad briefly because I didn't want him to be alone. Then I was made to live with my mom due to him working third shift overnight. I was 11. Kids have... Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Kids have empathy. I'm just thinking she was like, possibly like, don't worry, I'll be there. But for everyone saying, why didn't she clean up after him? Why does no one ask that about Austin even though he moved out? I just mean... Let's not be misogynistic now, right? Like, why is she not cleaning? Well, she was 17. She just turned 18. Is it her responsibility? But not just that. The mods made a very good point. Kathleen, Pernil, good points of like, one, why is it a responsibility? But two, hoarding. Have you guys ever actually seen the show Hoarders? It's so hectic, and oftentimes the hoarders are so pedantic over their stuff. They won't let anyone clean, and it's so messy, so unhygienic, such a situation that you need a company to come in and help. I don't even think one person could do it on their own, right? Yes. I'm not doing polls today. You guys can feel free to share your comments. Everyone's like, poll. Yes, the earlier stream too. Poll. We're not doing polls right now because we're just still discussing it. Let's just take a deep breath here, right? Did the defense rest? I guess you mean no. Nope, they didn't rest. They're going to bring up more witnesses tomorrow. Tomorrow they're starting at 9 o'clock Michigan time. Let's see. They've been late every day so far, but let's see. We'll be live again for it, so make sure if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on that. We do have lots of other things to talk about. Taylor Shea Business, Corey Richards, and so many updates that I have. But for today, I've run out of notifications. So that's it for now. You get 3 every 24 hours on YouTube. So if you could, please watch the video that I made for you guys from earlier, the Cody Bigsby case. That would be great. If there is an update about Corey Bigsby, I will share it on a YouTube short. Make sure also, depending on what device you're on, that you do check out my YouTube shorts, because I often update you there or on my community post, especially in situations like this where I've run out of notifications. If there's something that happens, like breaking news of something, I'll go live later again. But if you don't want to miss the notification, because you for sure will on YouTube, they won't be anymore, Patreon, it's the way to go. And everything starts at $1. All tiers get exactly the same. And then you'll always get your notifications. So, yes. Lastly, let's see. Yeah, I have not run out of steam. I could do 2 more live streams right now. I could do it. But okay, right now we're going to take a break. Maybe we all need a break. Probably going to go on a nice cycle in the Netherlands. Summer cycle. The sun only sets here at 11 o'clock at night. So it's only 8:15. So I've got plenty of sunshine. So I'm probably going to do that. And then I might see you later. Wherever it is. A short community post. Patreon. Something like that. We shall see. Denny Dawn said, do you think she will take the stand? I almost feel like she should take. I think she should take the stand and just explain again in her own words what the hell happened that day. Right? Okay, I'm going to quickly explain this. What do you mean no more YouTube notification? YouTube only allows content creators to have 3 notifications per 24 hours. So you can only go live or upload a video, whatever. There's 3 things you can do per 24 hours. Otherwise, subscribers don't get notified beyond that point. So if I did, for instance, 4 things on one day, the 4th one, no one's going to know about it unless they're on Patreon. So that's what that means. Okay. So, and yeah, thank you to Law and Crime Network and Core TV for streaming this, because it was initially meant to be on Zoom, and then it turned out to not be on Zoom. So that sucked. Yes. Magnetic Janice says, give us the goat. Thanks, G. So, yes, if you want to make sure you never miss out, you know where to go. And I will see you again later, you guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you, patrons, members, new subscribers. We've got lots of new subscribers. Let me quickly check that to see if we hit another milestone. There's a lot of new faces here, which is very cool. Welcome to all of you. Then I'm going to say goodbye. And some of you are asking, where's Fury? He's outside. He's on the balcony by the hammock. Oh, yes. Okay, let's see where we're at. Woo, we need 25 more people to to subscribe. And then we hit the next milestone. So let's see if we do it in the outro. Thank you for the support, everyone. Bye.